Hello everybody, my name's Nicola and welcome back to my channel. This is the Frugal Cottage where we talk all things money to help you on your financial journey. Today's video is my No Spend September week 1 update, so don't forget to like and subscribe and let's get started. So quite a few people have commented that they would like to see how my numbers look from week to week during a no spend month. So I thought I would come and share with you how they are looking after the first week in September. So I hope that everybody's had a good week. It is definitely back to reality with a bang for us, back to work and school and routines and early mornings and all of that. It's definitely different from the summer holidays. They already seem like quite a long time ago. But yeah, so this is my budget planner as always. I'll leave a link below to these if you want to join me in these, but this is this. So, filled this all out the first time to be fair. So my no spend day tracker first of all is looking like this. Now I'm going to say two things about no spend days because they always cause some controversy when I talk about these, especially on Instagram for some reason. So you either love no spend days or you hate them. There's no in between, and I love them. You're going to see that I've said that it's a no spend day even though I spent on a couple of the days. That is because, and I've been kind of pondering how to word this, the days on which I spent are kind of, one of them's petrol and I need petrol to get to work because I can't not buy it, so therefore I can't avoid that. And the second one are sports things for my children. And again, I guess now for this, at this point for me anyway, no spend days are planned spends, unavoidable spends in that sense, hence why I don't count any bills either, versus kind of I guess more unplanned spends or more than one. So like the sports things, I'm not going to say you can't go just so I get a no spend day because that's not fair on them. This isn't how it works. It's not what's best for me and my circumstances. When you do your own no spend days, you need to decide how it works for you. So yesterday was the only spend day I've had so far. I did the food shop and we got another couple of things as well, as you'll see. So aims for week 1 then. So I said, and if you're not new here, you'll know that I love a sticker. There's loads of stickers now. So 6 no spend days. I was going to start September in the most positive way, considering how spendy August ended up being and how much money I spent during the month. I kind of needed this to be a good start. In fact, I could do with the whole month being a good month in terms of spending or not spending in this case. So the aim was 6 no spend days. Monday was a no spend day. So Tuesday, so my youngest went to basketball on Tuesday, so that was a £5 fee for that. And then I needed petrol, so I stopped and get petrol. That is £46.12, and you can see I've still said that's a yes for a no spend day, and I've explained the reason why. So although I have spent, and I have, petrol I need that, so it is a non-negotiable in my budget. It is all the time. It's one of my biggest expenses in my budget anyway. They do various different things after school. In fact, we've got something on every evening after school for either one of my children. They don't do, both of them don't do all of them, if that makes sense. But it costs, and obviously I want them to do things and want them to enjoy themselves. It doesn't come within this remit of no spend days. So yeah, I don't count those as, it is what it is. Turning over, so Wednesday didn't spend anything, Thursday didn't spend anything, Friday, football, £5 fee for that. Again, it's a no spend day because again, it's something that's for them and it doesn't, it's just not included in my way of working these things out. And then Saturday went to Sainsbury's, did the food shop. It was actually slightly more than normal. First of all, because I took my children with me. Sometimes they come with me, sometimes they don't. When they come with me, it always ends up being more expensive. Even when I try my best for it not to, it just generally does. They tend to want things that I would not normally buy as much, but at the same time, I don't want to be that parent that says no all the time. I say no often enough. Money-wise, things to do with buying stuff. But yeah, so food-wise we've spent £62.92. That does include my parents are coming today for a Sunday dinner, so that does include a slightly more, like I bought a roast chicken for example, so that is much more than I'd normally spend, but it's, you know, it is what it is and it'll be lovely and I'm looking forward to them coming for tea. And then I bought a book for one of my children, so £5 for that. So it wasn't a no spend day yesterday, and then today, Sunday, is a no spend day. We are not going anywhere. I've currently got a Greek yogurt apple cake baking in the oven and we're just having it easy today, and then like I say, my mum and dad are coming around for tea later on. So in terms of the numbers for the first week in September, bearing in mind it's a no spend month and I need it to be better than the previous month or the previous 2 months. July was really expensive as well, and for me, if I continue to let myself just spend how I want and whatever, I know it doesn't end well, hence why no spend at September and getting it back on track and whatever else, because I know if I keep going, I'm just gonna, it just doesn't end well. I know that from previous experience. So in terms of categories of real expenses there, so I've spent £62.92 on food this week. Remaining balance for the food budget is £137.08. I need next week's spends to be lower than that to balance that out. Petrol, like I said, it's a non-negotiable in my budget, £46.12 and £203.88 remaining. And then the children this week, I spent £15 on them this week, and there is £85 remaining in their budget. Now obviously I don't count any of their food stuff in their own budget, that just comes within our food budget. Their budget is things like, if they're so for their clubs and things and anything extra, and then yeah, things like clothes, which eventually they'll need. Sometimes, some months I hardly ever go near the £100 for children in their budget. Other months I go way over it. It just depends on the month. That being said, I think that looks okay so long as I'm mindful of the budget for food. If I can get it to the £37-ish mark next week, then that balances it out for the final 2 weeks. That's what I've got in my mind. Hopefully I can do that whether or not I can. So again, so I talked about this in my other video. I feel like the things I buy sometimes are either going up in price quite a bit and or they are smaller. So for example, my youngest likes Freddos. If you're not from the UK, they're like a small chocolate in the shape of a frog, and he likes both the plain ones and the caramel ones, and I don't mind buying them for him as a treat. They're small. They used to get 6 in a packet for like £1, sometimes £1.20. Now there's only 4 in a packet, and they are, was that £1.50? Maybe £1.20, I can't remember off the top of my head. However, the point being is that there's now 2 less in a packet that you buy, even if it's the same price. And so it's little things like that that, you know, it's like, hang on, it's not, maybe not more expensive, but there's less in them, and I'm finding that more and more with the things that we are buying at the moment. And also, and I'm going to say this because I literally text my mum when I was in Sainsbury's to tell her this, Sainsbury's Weetabix, we buy the own brown version because I cannot justify the expense of actual Weetabix, and we all eat it, so we go through quite a lot. Own brand Sainsbury's Weetabix used to be £1.37 for quite a long time. Yesterday it's £1.90, or was it £1.92? It's jumped up massively, and as someone who buys that week in, week out, that's now an extra 60p. And I know 60p doesn't sound like a lot, but if every single thing in my food shop goes up by 60p, suddenly everything's going to be more expensive and I'm going to run out of money. So yeah, so I texted my mum yesterday going, oh my gosh, they put the price up, because it is expensive. And yes, would I like to buy actual Weetabix, like the branded stuff? Yes, because I actually think it tastes nicer. However, I can't justify the price of a box of branded Weetabix is ridiculous considering what it's made from. So yeah, anyway, rant over about prices, but yeah, I need to try and keep the food budget shop next week under £37 if I can, just to balance that out. Anyway, I've had 6 no spend days this week, which is a fantastic start to September. Let's hope that I can continue that this week. I'm pretty confident that I am going to be able to. And then look, I finally managed to write something in the extra income, and I don't think in all the time that I've done these videos I've managed to write something in that box. I made £10 on Facebook Marketplace this week, and so that will go in my sinking funds. So when I do my sinking funds video for October, that will be in there to update with that. But £10, I think, yeah, I'm pleased with that. I've got some other things listed on there, so hopefully that they'll sell as well. And yes, I know, I've downloaded the Vinted app. Next weekend I'm going to sit and do it, and you can hold me to that. So when I update my second week one for this, you can ask me whether I've done Vinted. I don't understand why I have such a reservation about it, and I know you're going to think, oh, she's going on about Vinted again. I get it, I know, I will do it. So, and I put here overall thoughts of the week. Great start to September, even made £10 on Facebook Marketplace. So that for me, I don't feel like that week could have gone any better in terms of my finances. Personal life, it's been a pretty rubbish week. However, if we're focusing on the positives, finance-wise, that's been a really good start to September and no spend September, and long may it continue. So, how is your no spend September going? How's it looking? How many no spend days did you have? Let me know down in the comments below how you're getting on, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate every single person that comes and watches and likes. If you've not subscribed already, can you please do so? It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you again very soon.